The What's Neat This Week podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply. Check them out. Their website is ohrtracksupply.com. Thank you very much, Jeff Otto, for your support.
All right, tonight on What's Neat, we're going to be covering Ed Dressel has some photos, Ken Patterson has some new news, and we also have viewer questions.
This is the What's Neat This Week podcast for December 30th, 2017. This is podcast number 22. And tonight, I've got 7 gentlemen with me tonight. I've got Dirk Reynolds behind the camera. I've got Jeff Meyer with us this evening. We've got Chris Palomarez. I've got Ed Dressel, Michael Budde, Daniel Coombs, and myself, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show. And there goes my name. And this week we got a lot to talk about, and I know I say that all the time, but Happy New Year, everybody. This is going to be a great 2018. I have a lot of faith in it as long as we all keep our health. This is going to be a very good year this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen to that.
Should be.
So with that, who should I hand it off to first, guys, tonight? We didn't practice this part.
Do you want to go to me?
Go ahead, Daniel. Tell us what you got.
Bring it in.
You know what, Ken? I was looking in some stuff in my train room, and look what I found.
Rock and roll in this. I don't have, boy, I can tell you stories about that. What do you want to talk about that?
The melted bridge?
What do you think about that?
Stories about that.
I don't have the girders on the table. I don't
Well,
want to
this
talk
is
about
basically an article he did in November 2011, published, basically the Wick Bridge, and what, was it a total rebuild or something like that? We'll go to the pages here real quick.
It was an article I was trying to do for the Craftsman. For Bill Schomburg back at the time. I was building Wick, this beautiful area down south here, about 7 miles. And it was a $1,400 job. I just wanted to get the job in and out and get the bridge done. 1,250 rivets later, using the Northwest Shortline rivet tool, which I really appreciated that tool. I put the pieces in the oven after they were painted, and the convection fan didn't work, so they promptly melted. And I had my little daughter, who was at the time 2 years old, at my feet. So I very quickly learned how to not react to a situation where you're going to lose $1,400 and you just discovered it a moment ago in the oven. So sure enough, they came out all melted. Those took 12 days to build and videotape and photograph for the article. But then I rebuilt them in 5 days. The second time around, 1,250 rivets. The article got published. All the drawings were in there. It was a super nice piece. Thank you very much for that cover shot. I think that was cover 156 or something like that at the time.
I still remember calling you from Caboose
and then
when that
shortly
came out.
thereafter, Walthers came out with a laser cut kit of the project because I did a little pre-production work that I was unaware of, but when I took their laser kit and put it right up to the side of my model, it matched dead on. So Walthers got it right, so you guys don't have to do what I did. You can simply buy the Walthers kit and build the Wick Bridge. And what was interesting about that bridge was it was girder. It was 4 different types of bridge construction in one
girder,
bridge.
Piers, and then you got steel beams over here and there.
So thanks for bringing that up. That was easy to talk about.
I'll talk about this later.
Go ahead, Chris. What do you got? What are you thinking about tonight?
I'm thinking about Merry New Year, and actually a movie that I was actually watching a little bit ago. This is where I got that from. This is with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd on it.
I know.
I remember that.
Great movie. It's Trading Places.
Yeah.
So great movie. Good New Year movie too. It has Amtrak in it. A party on Amtrak, so
awesome.
Can't go wrong. So that's what I got.
I shot Athearn's Union Pacific locomotive this week in the desert scene, locomotive number 1943, and it was 18 degrees outside, or for you folks overseas, it was 7.8 degrees Celsius. Now, I don't know about you, but it was cold. It was a very cold photo shoot in the desert that late day. A lot of low sun. But with the appropriate passenger cars that Dirk let me use, we recreated the YouTube videos that we saw where they were pulling this engine through the desert with the beautiful dome cars. And it turned out to be a nice photo shoot. Tell me, Ed Dressel, what do you want to talk about tonight?
Well, I come here all the time and kind of shoot in and shoot out. And you had asked me a while ago to bring a little bit of what I've been doing with my life and my professional architectural models that my company's built over the years. And so
You've built some nice models. Now, you had an architectural model building company in Denver, Colorado.
In Denver,
is that right?
We did a lot of work for the ski resorts and a lot of the developers around Denver and towards the West Coast.
And you brought some pictures tonight to share with us, didn't you?
I brought a little sampling of stuff that kind of ranges from some of the mountain work that I've been producing. We did everything from 1/8 scale realistic models to kind of topographic models that are more to show the terrain of the actual ski resort and kind of relationship to the buildings.
Walk us through these photographs. Point at them, walk us through them so I know when to put them on the screen.
You know, I've got a couple shots in there that have a lot of pine trees, which you'll see. That was actually out in Heavenly. That was North Shore. That was a big Hyatt project that we did. And it was an 8-foot by 8-foot diorama and included, I think, over 450 pine trees that we created. Ended up being close to a $80,000 model.
Nice.
Nice. But these are the types of things, and I think we show, there's a couple of pictures through here where we kind of show context in the sales office, give relationship to as their final purpose.
Okay, is that
yeah, that's kind of there. But, you know, we also did kiosks for malls, and, you know, the models went in the malls out there.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's, so you'll see Hyatt out there too as well. We also did 1-to-1 scale, 1 inch to a foot, that were kind of a realistic patterns and colors and carpets and things of that nature for the interiors, so people could get a realistic 3-dimensional view of their unit. But, you know, we did stuff for downtown Denver towers, a lot of tower projects that we did in Denver. Probably did at least 60 or 70 of them over the years for different developments. We're able to do projects for Mario Budde. He came over and did a wonderful new renovation of the Union Station. So I was actually able to get a part of the train in there for me.
Boy, you did good work.
Yeah,
man.
thanks. So. But, you know, everything from the airport model, we did a section model that flew over to the Middle East. They wanted to see a sectional diagram of what the airport was and the kind of functional pattern through there. And, yeah.
Now, when you build models like this, do you lose an interest in model trains, or do you still have that interest?
You know, it's gotten tabled for a while, and so my creative juices are always flowing for the trains, so I've been more of a collector. Over the years, but I think the beauty of what this has been able to do for me is develop methods and techniques that I think are very pertinent to the model railroad industry and kind of helping people expedite mass production of things. You
Nice.
know, yeah, absolutely. So, and I showed another little photograph in there, wonderful blue blanket shot of a Diamond Series Overland that I painted
I
for
see that.
diesel
Yeah, yeah,
consignment. You know, I kind of started my days off really early painting for them. And did hundreds and hundreds of models for diesel consignment, and Robert Darwin himself, who wrote the Union Pacific in Cheyenne, I did a lot of his work, and, you know, just kind of made my way through college with a lot of pro painting that I did back then. But yeah, turned it into a real career and sidestepped that. Now I'm building real buildings, but obviously the model building is certainly a passion of mine and something I wouldn't say mastered, but always continue to look forward.
You're awesome, Ed.
Thank
We
you,
love
guys.
your work,
Thanks for
man.
having me on.
Now you're helping Caboose, Kevin Rubel out there. They're
I am.
installing a new. Tell us about that.
A real caboose.
A real
Yeah, a
caboose.
real caboose. It's been in the talks for a while, and at one point he had, I think, a line on the work train caboose, the Rio Grande work train caboose that was at the Burnham shops, and they closed down a couple years ago. In doing that, UP kind of vacated the property and disconnected tracks and did a lot of things and kind of left it isolated. And I think they made him a really good deal. The unfortunate part about it was that it was, you know, kind of torched in the interior and, you know, graffitied and not in great shape. But he managed to pick up, he managed to pick up the 1416 that was at a model railroad group in Parker.
Okay.
And this is an off-road caboose that has never been repainted. It's in the orange and it's in great shape. So that's the caboose that's kind of headed that direction. I'm helping him do with the road base for it.
Very
you know,
good.
tie wall and all that stuff. So it should be in the next couple of weeks that'll be coming in. So, but yeah, Kevin's a fantastic guy. Love working with Kevin. Yeah.
Jeff Meyer, real quick, could you kill that spray booth? I noticed I left it on. I left the phones plugged in too. The cell phone is still on. We're in trouble if the phone's ringing. And the furnace is still running.
It's all good.
But it's
Taking your questions live.
12
That's right. And we go to the phones.
Now, Chris, I've been working this week for about 3 days on some trade show displays.
Absolutely.
It's almost train show season, and the
It is
manufacturers.
train show
It's always
season.
train show
Oh,
season.
yeah, right.
This is the time of the year where the manufacturers go back to back 7 or 8 train shows in a room.
Yes.
They're living out of hotels all through the month of February, January, and part of March before they get back into the offices and can conduct business again. And I know this because after 22 years of working with Bachman and some of the other manufacturers, this is the time of year I've always heard heard about on the phone.
Well, the word on the street is all going to be, hey, where's Ken Patterson?
Yeah.
Amen. I want to remind everybody that Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply, Jeff Otto, is our sponsor for this podcast.
We don't
And
have
no,
to
I
do
don't
that.
have any dies hanging up in our table here, so I can show them to you at the moment, because I hung them all up on the wall. I hung one up on the cabinets back there.
There's one right there on the pole.
The most honest thing about these things is they're quality art. These things are
Absolutely,
mechanical,
yeah.
industrial, metal art. I mean, if you bought something like this in an art gallery in California, you'd spend $500 or $1,000 for something like this.
True.
If you don't even use them to lay track,
Yeah.
if you don't even use them to make turnouts, they look beautiful hanging up in the shop. And to me, it's worth the price. So I've got like 4 of them down here hanging up now.
They're
so
gorgeous.
there's just another consideration for the wonderful track jigs
Oh,
that Jeff
absolutely.
Otto makes. I understand you're working on some new drawings for Jeff. and
Jeff
you've got
and I have
new
been talking
products.
about methods and techniques and things of that nature for kind of expediting,
Yeah.
the hand laying track and kind of bringing it up a level, but also maybe kind of adjusting that cost down.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that hand laying track is not a fun thing to do. It's monotonous, but for those of us proto modelers who want that detail, we like to go that effort. But again, kind of using my professional model making techniques that I've learned over the years, we're trying to develop some thought process to make it less expensive and quicker to lay.
You're
So,
a very good man
yeah.
for Jeff to have on board.
Yeah, we're trying to work
So
together.
good luck with that. But as I was saying a moment ago, I've started some trade show displays for Chris, for Athearn.
Yep.
We're doing a 26-inch circle roundhouse diorama where I cut it out of foam, and I'm also doing an easy track layout for him too, where I cut this out of foam. This is a 2-inch foam that we glue together using the Foam Pro.
Great stuff.
Foam Pro
Yeah.
glue. Thank you very much. And of course, I wrap these scenes in 1/16 inch oak. I really like that. You make it wet, you wrap it around the diorama, and it gives a very nice smooth outside finish for your foam dioramas. So you staple this in place, and then I use bar clamps on the joints to help try to keep the joints perfectly smooth, because when people are running their hands around these, I want them to be nice and smooth. I put on multiple coats of black polyurethane.
It does look beautiful.
It allows
Yeah.
that wood grain
Kudos.
to come through, and it's just a really neat way to treat a module like this, that black poly. And then I sand it with sandpaper, 2000 grit sandpaper and water. Sometimes I alternate to 1500 grit, so that when the customers
Polishes
are
a
looking
little
at the layout,
yeah.
the sides are glass smooth black. So
Beautiful.
consider this for building some of your dioramas, or even for treating the side of your layout. It works really well. And all I got to do now is cut out the turntable and do the part that matters, the track lining up.
Well, the reason why we went with the black oak? Do you remember?
No.
Professional look.
No, beyond that. You did a old layout for us, the 4x6, that was based on an Atlas track plan.
Oh, yeah,
And that's
yeah,
been
yeah.
traveling the U.S. and it's going to go back out to the East Coast. And we wanted everything to be kind of a little bit more cohesive between, the locomotive display, which is the turntable and the whisker tracks, and then also the train set table. We
Yeah.
wanted everything to kind of link together.
More uniform,
So, yeah, a little bit more uniform, exactly. So
They're going to look nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not doing a segment for the What's Neat video on that. In fact, I'm working on February's video right now, trying to get it done. A lot of good content in there. I want to make it a little bit more stronger than what January was. January was a situation where I was seriously... I had to jump on. As soon as January was done, I was on a plane. I didn't even watch January. I literally edited it together like it was a mathematical
God.
project, because eventually you just wear into it. When you're doing video programming, you can close your eyes and literally do it and not even watch it, because the mechanics of it, the end result's still good. So it came out good. We had 4 good segments in there. Daniel helped me do the install of the Digitrax
DCC decoder with the power extender into the Goose. Also with that is not a brand new power extender. They've had it for a while, but they have come out with the smaller
new to me.
PX108-2 power extenders that are smaller than the ones that they had, which was the PX112.
So I didn't have to
10.
cut
You
out
got
all
that,
those
Mike?
seats. Okay.
No, you had one of the other ones.
Okay, good. So I cut out the seats. It all worked
Oh,
out.
well, but it works. It works. That's all I
Joe
I care about.
Fugate and Patty Fugate give us a 20-minute interview about working in the industry together as editors of Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine and cranking out about 300 pages of content, and then putting up with me on the phone, calling them every couple of days with my excitement of what we're doing this week. So it's just amazing how those two are so in love. It comes through really a lot on the podcast. It's kind of cute. Joe and Patty are lucky to have each other. Good editors for the magazine. And there's some great drone footage in the video, and then we end it with the microengineering track segment with a very in-depth analyzation and overview of the new ladder system that they've come out with.
yeah.
A lot
I've seen
more
that.
than what we
Yeah.
talked about here on the podcast. We really literally build it. So that's coming up. That just came out 2 days ago for the
Yeah.
January What's Neat video.
paint over.
Oh,
And back to you,
something I've
Chris.
been working
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I saw that Locomotive. I was wondering whose that was. Now it does
Well,
look like a
you
pretty
know,
good project.
this
to
is-
start off.
I ran out of stuff.
This
to
is
talk
kind of
about.
going through making models have a new life. This is old Proto 2000 model, and while you can't see what I did in this, I need to pull off the couplers and stuff, but I do have photos that you will see while I'm talking. Proto 2000, Ken, you know about this issue where after a time the axle gears start splitting.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, the lifelike thump.
The lifelike thump.
You have no idea. I can still tell this story because actually most of the people that were around then were retired. But all the business meetings happen at Wathers, at the Pancake House, at the great big round table in the corner, where Audrey's the server and she serves up the coffee. But one day, I was at the Pancake House during a business meeting, and they looked at me and said, "We bought lifelike." I was like, "Really? That's really cool. They got neat engines and da-da-da-da-da. What are you going to do about the lifelike thump?" And they all looked at me with total mystery. Nobody knew about it because they don't play with trains. They're manufacturers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the lifelike thump was something that was, what was that? Mixing the plastic where after time it would crack?
Well, the Delrin shrank.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Delrin shrank.
It's
Yeah.
easily fixable with Athearn gears, but
well,
Wathers
not
fixed
really.
the problem immediately.
Not really. It took a little bit of alchemy and a little bit of re-engineering, but I was able to keep the gearbox covers and use the newer Athearn gears, which have a slimmer profile, keeping them a little bit quieter in the gearbox. And that's a new engineering thing for the Athearn RTR line and also the Roundhouse line, is they use slimmer gears where the teeth are, where they mesh. It isn't as loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It kind of quieted the Athearn growl from the blue box days.
Very cool.
So what I did here was, like, this thing hasn't turned a wheel in like 10 years. So I decided, let's just see what I can do with it. I changed out the gears in the gearbox and then updated all that to more common parts. And now it runs. So I'm going to do that to your GP30 that's been on a lot of covers.
Oh my God, my GP30.
And then I'm going to turn that into
That's been on.
into a little video segment for what's neat. But
Is
also
it still
wanted
here?
to,
Where is it?
also wanted to take no, I got it over by my box.
That
But,
engine's been on more covers than anything else we ever did. One time we lit it up from underneath and we shot Dave Davis's coupler. Can you put a coupler on the cover of a magazine? We did it. We did it. We lit it from underneath with a mirror reflecting the sun back up. Lit up his large coupler box that he built.
Yep.
I can't even tell you how many covers. Look around the room, how many other covers you see that on. It's been in so many different photographs. I don't know why. It just looked good weathered. That model looked good weathered, and I put a good Fraser crew in it.
Well, it'll be a lot of fun to take that and bring it into the modern era with some new gears and, there's 3 split gears. I was just checking it earlier. There are 3 split axle gears on it. So I think it'll be a fun little project and it'll turn into a good What's Neat segment. But also want to invite everybody over to my YouTube channel. It's MAV Digest, and I have a brand new segment up right now for putting a Kato HM5 into Athearn RTR diesels. Yeah.
I'll subscribe. Definitely.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you.
Look at the magic time.
Well,
Let's
Mike,
launch.
what about you?
Oh wait,
Yeah,
Mike and Jeff.
Has anybody
Maybe
not talked yet,
No,
Mike?
Mike. and-
Yeah, I've just been working on some stack packs still, working on the flat cars. I'll have some pictures next week. But I also, did a few more of these and painted them in enough to fill an auto rack.
Yeah, those are
He made
gorgeous.
those live on
I
show
know.
last
I love
night.
these.
Well, you showed
I know.
your
I know.
stuff on your Facebook.
These are
Yeah,
fantastic,
I
man.
put it on the
Perfect
Athearn
for
Yeah,
mine,
yeah,
too.
that's where it's on. Yeah.
And I haven't finished putting the tape windows in it yet, but I just wanted to show how it looked. It's completely out of my era. My era is like 79, but I had the chance to do something with these 1970 Chevys. I couldn't pass up the opportunity.
Yeah, very cool.
They're all for me.
Well, these are anyway.
He gets paid somehow.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff Meyer, table's all yours, brother. What do you got going on?
Not much, just work in the holidays. I've been working on a Moloko box car. I think it's one of the, I don't want to say it wrong, BX94 RBLs they came out with. Been weathering that, trying to match to a photograph. And then a Tangent, one of their X58s in Pennsylvania, trying to match that to a photograph too. So it's time consuming, but that's really about all that's on the workbench right now.
Yeah, the good kits. Those
All
are
right.
gorgeous. Absolutely.
Dirk Reynolds, readers' questions. Let's do 1 or 2, and we're going to end the show very
and
shortly.
We want to go over this.
Go ahead, man. Shoot.
Oh, now?
Yeah.
Okay.
for it.
Christmas, I got a lot of train stuff, like I said in last podcast, but here's the one that I thought was really cool. is the new Athearn SC40-2s. And now, how many paint schemes do you guys have?
That's a long
Well,
nose.
there's a laundry list of them, and they're all on Athearn.com. So be sure to go there. Go to the
Gorgeous
RTR
looking.
page.
I know. The thing with this
and
is
SD4-2.
it's got the Economy sound with now you get 3 prime mover selections. And I
Yep.
think with the Economy, you guys are able to put more functions on it.
Well, you can change out your bell tone. You can also, it has an engine startup, which the original RTR sound did not have. It's pretty much our Tsunami 1s that are now at the RTR line, where we have our Tsunami 2s and our Genesis. So we took the features that were out of the Economy line, and it's still a what's considered budget sound.
Yeah.
You're not really missing a whole lot. It's still great quality sound, but at a price point for
Yeah, and the
entry level.
detail. I mean, you guys
Gorgeous looking.
with the
Yeah.
Union Pacific variation though.
Yeah.
This is really
Looks
class.
nice.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I'm gonna get some more. I'm gonna tell you right now. I want some more. It's just that good.
We're going to do a live show after this in 30 minutes. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Chris is going to be in charge of that.
No,
but
all
we're
I
going to
gotta do is hit a button, so.
We're going to go through a lot of readers' questions, and we're going to also answer questions live on Facebook. Where do people? Well,
No,
will this be
YouTube.
recorded somewhere where they can watch this later?
Yes.
The live show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
let's
go
still
to
save it.
go to Ken Patterson YouTube. You can see the question and answer.
Okay, great.
It'll be part 2. It's going to be really part 1, which is going to be actually after the live one, which will have all these points. But the readers' questions will be up first, since it'll be a live broadcast, no real editing.
Okay.
But yeah,
We're making
if
good
you haven't
time.
seen it already, go to the next video.
We're 24 minutes into it. Dirk, go ahead and shoot some readers' questions at us.
First one, LS3 Jack. Now, Mike, you responded to this already, but it was about making your molds of the cars there. And I believe that you said that you're going to do a segment for What's Neat and actually get into the nitty-gritty of everything that this stuff is made of.
Right. That's really better suited for Ken's monthly show, because I can't do it really quickly on this show. But
Well, you
maybe
did it last week on the
February, March,
podcast.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
No, wait a minute. You did it real quick on the podcast.
well, that was
last
just
time.
pouring and then letting it cure and then breaking them out of the mold.
Oh, so you
But,
mean
when
really,
make
like,
the mold,
detailing it
Yeah, I
and
mean, you
finishing
got
it
to
off?
put clay around. I'll have to show
Right.
how to do all that. And
Okay.
Yeah.
so,
Yep.
Yeah.
so anyway.
The other one was for Ken. Jacob Oliver wants to know where you get your music.
It's already in the program. It's whatever came with it. Go to Best Buy, $99 buy a video editing program, and they usually come with music already pre-canned and in the system.
Yeah, iMovie has it. Yours is
We just take what we got,
Adobe
whatever
Premiere
comes.
Elements?
It's stuff that you don't have to
But
copyright.
people start liking it because they anchor the
Yeah,
show to
right.
it. They anchor their moment of pleasure to it. And all of a sudden, it's like their favorite new tune. And I've actually had people request, can I send them the music on disc so they can listen to
Let me
it?
put it on
And
my
Google
phone.
stock audio.
So,
You
yeah.
can
Right.
pick up a lot of clips from there.
I can
as
see
well.
at some
Yeah,
point,
that's
you
true.
play the
Yeah.
guitar, right? At some point, we might have we'll get Chris to do some live music for us.
Fantastic.
I'll serenade everybody with my acoustic.
Yeah, and you had the Glenn Andrews play for you in previous What's Neat, right?
Yes.
That one guitar
Yeah,
player.
he was really good. Okay,
October
Dirk, what's
2014.
next?
From TJ Rollins. Something about a book. Ken, in a past segment, there was mention of a reference book about the trucking industry in America, but I can't locate that
Wathers?
segment now to remember the name of the book.
The trucking industry?
It's
Didn't
a
we talk about it on a podcast?
Golden West book made, a 1-inch thick yellow book. It's on the shelf over there. It was all about trucking and the transportation of trailers and intermodal from the very early years. I don't remember the name of it to answer the question, honest to God. Do you remember that yellow book we have?
Yeah, but I really don't remember what's in it.
Okay,
other
we
than-
struck out on that one. It'll be in the bottom text here underneath as you read it. All of a sudden, the words of the book just showed up.
There it
Why are
is.
those there?
There
Well,
it is.
Yeah, they
because,
are.
We have no clue, but ha!
because in post-editing, I'm going to go look for it.
There you go. It's
look
right
at that.
there.
Not really
Next.
sure.
Go ahead, Dirk. We got time.
High Speed, PGH. He would like to see something about DCC, like a recurring segment on DCC topics. So I guess problems that come up with it. Yeah, Daniel's probably going to handle that one. We'll have Daniel not get that technical for everybody so they can understand what they're talking about. But,
Good luck with
Sorry,
that.
Mike.
Yeah,
so
good luck.
we're not all going, oh, yeah, okay. Just like little problems come up with them. What do I get with this one? What do I get with that one? So,
Yeah.
maybe we can look into that.
Yeah.
Will Annan wants to know about good butt joints on your modules. I know we're doing the magnetic ones now, so
Yeah.
but how do you get your stuff to really line up and there's no
That would be another good one for the What's Neat main show.
Well,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
on foam shrinkage or something like that over time.
I can interject here. I know I'm working on with Kevin on a project, and I have a product that we're looking at that's going to simplify module connections to a precise conclusion. So
It's just
stay
a
tuned
matter
on
of
that.
having a good sharp saw
Absolutely.
blade,
Yeah.
quality tools, making sure that your saws are all square before you make your cuts.
Absolutely.
Try not to use hand tools. I mean, if you live in an apartment complex, you got to use hand tools.
Yeah.
You know, you can cheat. You can bend things around a little bit with the glue and the screws. There's a little tweaking you can do as long as you've got squares and clamps to set up everything when the glue sets up. The hardest thing was doing that magnet layout that was the shape of the circle, the horseshoe. Each one was a horseshoe. So by the time you put the 1/4-inch oak around it and you put the 16th-inch oak on the inside, that horseshoe's starting to widen out about a 1/2 of an inch and nothing's going to line up. So you got to glue everything, put the bar clamps and clamp in place, and then let the glue set before you pull it apart. But primarily for doing good bench work, it's just a quality setup of tools and making sure the tools are tweaked out correct so everything's square when you make your cuts.
Well, you know, as an apartment dweller, I've been looking at maybe doing some laser cutting just to make sure that all my cuts are precise and just sort of like fall together like a jigsaw puzzle. You know, I mean, it's what you got.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Someday you're going to be able
Go
to
to
go
a
to Home
service
Depot and buy
bureau.
a laser saw. No more saw blades. It's just a light.
Press
Yeah,
Brilliant.
right.
Yeah.
hey, go
Replace
to a
light.
service bureau that can handle laser cutting and say,
Yeah.
I want a module and blah.
Can you imagine the
Here you
smell on
go.
They're
construction
out there.
sites? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, guys, where are we at? We got about
Now
three.
we're done.
We're almost
I got a
up
long
to.
one, and we're going to do that one for the live cast.
So we're going to do a live cast in
All right.
25 minutes, but right now it looks like we've made it. We got 3 minutes to go, short of a half an hour. Anything last things that anybody wants to say?
No, but can I maybe end it on this?
Daniel wants to end the show, and absolutely
You
go
wanna
ahead and end the
recap?
show. This
I'll
is-
do it
All right.
after.
Okay.
Guys, like, dislike, comments, questions below. And I think, Chris, you got one more thing to say.
Nope.
Oh, no?
Nope.
Anyone else?
So
No.
Jeff Meyer,
Ed Dressel.
Eddie Dressel, Daniel Coombs, Ken Patterson, Mike Budde, Chris Palomarez.
And Dirk behind the
we
camera.
all wishing you the very happiest of New Year's. And I'm telling you what, guys, this is going to be a good one this year, so let's just hang on tight and ride it.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.